This is part 2 of lesson 8-1, adding and subtracting polynomials. In the previous video, all we talked about was really what a polynomial is and how to classify it. So we haven't yet got into adding and subtracting. That's what we're going to do right now. So basically, and you can read this up here, but it says to add polynomials, you group like terms horizontally or write them in a column form, aligning terms vertically. Like terms are monomial terms that have the same variables with the same exponent. So 3p and negative 5p are like terms, and you could combine those, right? Or 2x squared y and 8x squared y. They have the same variables, so you could combine their leading coefficients. So let's do an example, and then we'll just hop right on down to the bottom. Basically, when you have these guys here, they're in parentheses because this is showing you, okay, this is the first polynomial, it's a trinomial, and you're subtracting another trinomial. But that's where the exponent, or not the exponents, the parentheses kind of end. We don't need them beyond that. What you do have to make sure before we get rid of these parentheses is that whatever sign is in front here, you distribute that sign to every term in parentheses, right? So this is 3x squared plus 2x minus 6, and then minus 2x, and then minus x squared, and minus 3. Right? So we've distributed this negative sign to every term in here. It's really like a negative 1 out front, so we're multiplying each term by negative 1, which changed all the signs. And now we got rid of all the parentheses after we distributed, so now we can just combine like terms, right? 3x squared, we can combine it with negative x squared, right? Which is kind of what they did down here in just a roundabout way. So 3x squared minus 1x squared is 2x squared. And then I've got 2x and 2x. So positive 2x minus 2x is just 0, and you don't have to write that, I'm just showing you. And then lastly, I've got a negative 6 and a negative 3. So negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9. So when I simplify that whole thing, I get 2x squared minus 9, and I have to make sure that it's in standard form, biggest term first, and then anything else smaller behind it. 2x squared minus 9, 2x squared minus 9, done. We've got a binomial with a degree of 2. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. The other way they said is that you can line them up vertically, right? So here we just wrote them side to side and we combine like terms. Here they put the first one on top and the second one on bottom with a minus sign. So they lined up all the like terms. So 3x squared minus 3x squared minus x squared. Oh, they distributed the sign. They made that confusing. Ignore this part. 3x squared minus x squared is 2x squared. 2x minus 2x is nothing, cancels out. Negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9. Okay, so you can line it up vertically, or you can just look at it horizontally and combine like terms. Biggest thing is you can't take away the parentheses unless you have until you have distributed any negative signs. If it's a plus sign, you don't have to do anything, right? You just take the parentheses away, it's done. You don't have to distribute a plus 1. It doesn't change anything. All right, so let's work on these. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. All right, find each sum or difference. So here we're adding. When we're adding, we don't have to do anything different, so we're just gonna take the parentheses away. 4a minus 5 plus 3a plus 6. I wanna combine my like terms, so 4a plus 3a is 7a, and negative 5 plus 6 is positive 1. So that's my answer. Done. That easy, right? I'm just going to go straight down here. All right, next, it's a plus sign again, so I can just ignore the parentheses. I could rewrite it if I want to. I'm not going to, yeah, I can go ahead and do that. 6xy plus 2y plus 6x plus 4xy minus x. Now I want to combine like terms. This guy has an xy, this guy has an xy. So 6xy plus 4xy is 10xy. So I used this one and this one. Then I have a 2y. So I use that one. And then I have a 6x and a negative x. So 6x minus x is 5x. And this has a degree of 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. This has a degree of 1, and this has a degree of 1. So it is, oh, sorry. This has a degree of 1, this has a degree of 1. So it is in standard form. You could have flip-flopped these two. It still would have been in standard form. They both have a 1 degree. And we're done. Next. It's a plus sign, so nothing changes. So I'm just going to start combining like terms. 3p squared plus p squared. Negative 2p plus negative 7p. So negative 2p minus 7p. 3 plus 7. Plus 3 plus 7. So if I go ahead and combine all those like terms, 3p squared plus p squared is 4p squared. Negative 2 minus 7 is negative 9p. And 3 plus 7 is 10. So this would be my answer here. Just combining like terms. That's all we're doing. Next, number 7. Now we've got a minus sign. So now we have to distribute that minus sign to each term in this set of parentheses. There's no minus sign out front here, so we don't change this guy, just this guy. So we've got 8p minus 5r minus negative 6p squared, so that becomes plus 6p squared, minus 6r, minus negative 3. Basically, that minus sign here just changes the sign of every term in here. A negative times negative 6p squared gives me positive 6p squared. Negative 1 times 6r gives me negative 6r. Negative 1 times negative 3 gives me positive 3. And then I can combine my like terms. So I've got an 8p and nothing else. I've got a 6p squared. That's my biggest degree term, so I'm going to put that first. 6p squared, used it. Then I have an 8p down here. I'm going to add that next. Used it. Then I've got negative 5r and negative 6r. That's negative 11r. And then I've got this plain number, this plus 3 on the very end. So this would be my answer. And it's in standard form, right? 2, 1, 1, 0. Highest degree to smallest degree. You could have flip-flopped these two, and it still would have been correct. All right, number 9. I've got another minus sign, so I want to distribute this negative 1 to each term inside parentheses. So I got 3x squared minus 2x. Negative 1 times 3x squared gives me negative 3x squared. Negative 1 times 5x, negative 5x. Negative 1 times negative 1, positive 1. Now I can combine my like terms. So 3x squared minus 3x squared, they go away. Negative 2x minus 5x is negative 7x. And then I still have this plus 1 on the end. So my answer is negative 7x plus 1. And this whole polynomial would have a degree of 1 because this term has a degree of 1, this has a degree of 0. No variables has a degree of 0. And lastly, in this video, I'm not going to do the evens, just stop here. We have a minus sign, so we want to distribute that minus sign to each term in parentheses. So I've got 2h minus 6j minus 2k. Negative 7h is positive 7h. Negative 5j is positive 5j. And negative 4k is positive 4k. So this is what the whole thing looks like once I simplify, and now I want to combine like terms. So I've got an h here, I've got an h here. 2h and 7h is 9h. I've got here, I'll mark them off when I use them. I've got negative 6j and positive 5j. Negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1, so negative 1j. And then negative 2k plus 4. Negative 2 plus 4 is positive 2, so positive 2k. And this is just in standard form because each term has a degree of 1. So it really didn't matter what order you put them in. I would say probably try and do it alphabetical order, but there's no rule on that. That's just how I would do it. So this is our answer. And we're all done. If you have any questions on adding or subtracting polynomials, that's all there is to it. So let me know. Thanks.